Afternoon, people. Welcome to the daily episode of the Transfer Daily by Born and Red. It's me, your host today. If you like it, that's fine. If you don't, then it's tough. But generally, you guys are a kind bunch. I'm sure you'll be nice to me as ever. Fixtures. We'll be talking. We're normally talking about transfers, aren't we? But today, it's fixtures. Yesterday, I got a message. The guys who were watching yesterday. I didn't get exactly told the fixtures, but I got told be ready for about 3 games in 8 days. And then I randomly can tell you that I randomly got told Arsenal are playing away to Man United. That's the only fixture I got last night. Had to verify it, and it was too late to let you guys know during the night. But in the morning, started getting a few cherry emojis, and that only meant one thing, that Milos Kerkez will be making his debut, and so will Florian Wirtz, and so will Jeremy Frimpong, will be making their debuts under the lights on a Friday night at 8 p.m. against Bournemouth, who will be a depleted side. Lost Huijsen to Real Madrid, losing Zabarani to PSG, losing Milos Kerkez to the one and only Liverpool, and maybe a few others. Knowing Bournemouth, they'll get a few, and they've already started, haven't they, with the left back from France for around about 11 to 12 million pounds. And knowing them, they'll get a few good players that none of us have, you might have, but I won't have. I can tell you that for free. But one thing's for sure, they do pick up some really good talent, and then they spin those talents for good money after a year or two. So there's no easy game. Apart from Man United home and away in the Premier League. But I think we have to be very relaxed about the opening fixture. Now, when you come to, let's get it on stage, actually. I think Ian Doyle put it on. And I've learned how to zoom in, command and plus and minus. I had to Google it. I know you guys were telling me last night. But I've learned how to zoom in. I think you guys haven't learned how to smash a like. Every single show, we're getting good people in the building, and the ratio to the amount of people that we're getting isn't simply good enough, people. So please grab your mouses, move your fingers over to this like button, smash a like, and also be on bell as well. So whenever we do go live, you're getting notifications as to what's happening when it comes to our content. So please smash a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. So Bournemouth at home on a Friday night. I like this. In other sports, like in tennis at Wimbledon, snooker at the Crucible, the champion comes out and the champion plays first. The champion opens this, the event, the main event, and I like this. And if this is a thing or a trend that they keep on going with, then I wouldn't mind this. I think the champion deserves to come out, even though we're getting probably getting sick of the Guard of Honors. I'm not asking for a Guard of Honor on the first day on the Friday night from Bournemouth. We got plenty of them last year, but I think Liverpool just do deserve that, and it sets the tone, and it sort of re-engages and refocuses the mind that from the first day that we're here to win back to back, and we're going for number 21. And even though it's only the first fixture, we can set the tone for the new Premier League season, and have a bit of a relaxing weekend on the opening weekend of the Premier League season, and watch a bit of footy with already having 3 points on the board. Bournemouth at home. I'm just going to look at the fixtures, then we'll go on to the transfer news or the gossip, going through all the gossip column over the last 24 hours. You have to say the next 2 games, I think, Newcastle's probably, the second, third, or fourth toughest away fixture. What's tougher than Newcastle? Arsenal away, City away. Then you're struggling. Chelsea might come into that equation, but Newcastle away, as we found out last year in the final, in the first half, during the last season when we were up in the clouds, that they are a tough side. And let's not forget, that'll be their opening home fixture of the season as well. So that is a really, really tough fixture. Zishan says he's the toughest in my opinion. In some ways it is, in terms of, like you say, the atmosphere, the physicality, the crowd really get behind their team, and they've got a trophy behind them this season, so they might have a different mindset. Obviously not as favourites as us, Arsenal and Man City, to go up there for the title, but for the fourth position, Newcastle will be there or thereabouts. Now they might be depleted. They might have someone called Alexander Isak playing against them on that night in a red shirt. We hope so, and we'll come to that as the sort of whispers of Alexander Isak continue to take place. And then it's the big one, Arsenal at home. We battered Arsenal, I thought, in the end of season fixture in the first half. They showed some character, to be fair to them, and came back in the second half and showed their quality. Now, some of you might say we were already on the beach. I think we were. We stopped playing after 34 games, but Arsenal are a good side, and they're going to be strengthening across the summer as well, just like everyone else is. And if they get Zubamendi in, Sesko in, maybe a left winger to replace or even support Gabriel Martinelli on the left-hand side, then they'll be all stronger for it. And then I think it's the international break, isn't it? Then we come back to a nice, easy fixture. I think that Burnley one is set. Now, we have to caveat everything. I saw some tweets going out that the Premier League is warning that, these fixtures and times will get moved. Of course they are. European competitions affecting some fixtures, FA Cup ties, replays, and all that sort of stuff. And then, TV, Sky will be moving Liverpool to, Monday nights and Sunday evenings as much as they can, because everybody watches the Reds. So let's see what happens. Abid, what's he on about? All good and all on the beach, man. I don't know what that means, but I should carry on and should know better, ignoring Abid. So let's see what happens. Then our first 6 to 9 fixtures, I think, we've got some. The thing is, we've got at home, away to Everton. I think by November, if we're top or maybe 1 or 2 points behind, I think Liverpool will be happy with that. They've got Chelsea away there. They've got Man United at home, but it's still Man United. As we've seen, they've been absolute shite, but they still managed to somehow get a result at Anfield. At home to Arsenal, and we have just discussed Newcastle away, and then Crystal Palace, FA Cup winners. Mateta is always a handful, so let's see what happens. And then Chelsea in October, Man United at home. There's some tough fixtures. There are some tough fixtures, but I'm really my hope on Liverpool coming back, and I think Liverpool will get out there, off the mark really quickly, because Arne Slot gave the players a month off, but he also wanted them back 1 week early. As far as I know, Liverpool are starting their pre-season 1 week before Arsenal. Someone in the chat maybe who knows better can confirm that, but I think I read that somewhere over the last couple of days. And I think that's a big plus for me. Arne Slot assessed it, looked at the players like McAllister, who were absolutely knackered, Szoboszlai, and many others, and as a collective as well. But he gave them a week off, and I think the agreement was, lads, you can go wherever you want, you can do whatever you want, and you come and fly into England, and we can play the games. But you have to give me a guarantee that you guys have a rest in May, but you also come back a week early. And I think you'll see the results of that, especially in the first 4 or 5 fixtures. And when you listen to players talk about pre-season, you listen to coaches talk about pre-season, and every coach generally says we have the players at their full fitness after they come back after their first after the first international break, and then you see the players at full fitness. But I think Liverpool will be really out the what's the word? What's the phrase? Out the straps from the first week against Bournemouth, Newcastle, and Arsenal. So we go into November, and I think this is a big period. And Arnie Slot talks about managing his squad from November to December. It's probably the biggest period in terms of fixtures going going into the season. I'm just going to scroll down so I can see him myself. There we are. There we are. Where am I gone? There we are. So we kick off the November fixtures with Villa at home, Manchester City away. So 2 fixtures in 7 days, and they are not easy. Even though I do feel like we've always, apart from the Villa away games, even though we seem to control Villa, we just get caught on some stupid, counter attacks, stupid situations. Last couple of years, I've been down to Villa and I've felt like Liverpool have played really, really well. And even when it was the penultimate game for Jurgen Klopp, when he left, we battered him and then had a mad 15, 20 minutes, and it was 3-3 in the end, or wasn't it? And then even last season, the Darwin Núñez square pass to Szoboszlai, how could we all forget that? And we just walk out that ground seeing, you played well, but you just gave stupid goals away. But I think Villa is that kind of team where, because they've got players who can just turn it on with a blink of an eye or a transition, because they've got pacey players running into midfield and beyond your own players, or, they've got the likes of Rashford. Whether he plays for them next season is another question, but they always seem to be at the end of the season as well. And I think we've got them away again, the second to the last game at the end of the season at Villa Park, which we end with a home tie with Brentford. So then we go on to Forest at home. I think Arnie Slot probably looked at that fixture and thought, where the hell? Gimme Nottingham Forest. I think if Arnie Slot had to start with someone, he'd probably say, gimme Nottingham Forest at home, because since last October, was it, or August, he's been working on Nottingham Forest, and he's been talking about Nottingham Forest as well. So I hope we've learned a few lessons of how to break that bus down at Nottingham Forest. But Nottingham Forest will have someone called Florian Wirtz to deal with their bus. So I look forward to the Saturday, 22nd of November. Then we go to West Ham, and then we enter the December period. And this December period, going to Saturday, the 13th of December, is a very interesting date, because it's probably the game that Mohamed Salah misses. That's the first game I think he misses. He's definitely going to miss Brighton, Tottenham, Wolves, and Leeds. Or does he go after Brighton? Maybe someone can double check with me when I think he goes after Brighton, maybe, as far as I know. But I think we should be able to beat Tottenham, Wolves, and Leeds United. There's 2 home games there. Even though we've got a trip to the London Stadium, I think we can beat Tottenham. It doesn't matter how good Thomas Frank and his Spurs team are doing in December. I think we should be beating him. And it'll be interesting to see what system Thomas Frank plays. We've seen Amorim go there and put 5 at the back, and in Man United players I know are shy, but they've struggled to cope with that system, because it's a very, very unique system. But Thomas Frank in recent years has shown that he can adapt and play 4 when he needs to, play 5 when he needs to, and swap during games as well, as we've seen at Anfield. So I think he's got probably a bit more adaptability to Amorim, and maybe Amorim learns this season. By the way, there's 225 people in here. Keep smashing a like and subscribe to the channel. I'll try to bring where am I going now? Wait on, people. Wait on. There we are. God knows what I've done. There we are. That's better. I'll try to bring on the messages from the members as well, because that's the agreement, isn't it? H is a good point. We have a community shield as well. Villa Park down here in the Brum Fortress. Rumi, hopefully Europa League will help us in many fixtures. Yeah, 100%. And Chelsea as well. They're playing Champions League, so they're playing on Tuesdays and Wednesdays as well. So, rotating 11 players on a Thursday night, they'll have to address that as well. This is what I want everyone to do. Spank the like button, please. Just spank it as much as you want, but spank it in odd numbers, because if you spank it with even numbers, then you'll unlike the stream. So don't spank it twice. Spank it 3 times, 5 times, 7 times, because you'll keep liking it. Right. Abid's asking for lunch. Me always, Abid. You know, you would never buy lunch. But this is where it gets interested. January, going into the new year. Uh, Spunk the likes, yeah. Aki's getting a bit naughty during lunch hours. Fulham away and Arsenal away. I think that depends on if Egypt make it to the knockout stages. And with the players that we got, with their track record, I think it's safe to say that Mohamed Salah makes it to, the latter stages of the AFCON. So he will most likely miss. And that's the first thing I checked when I got the fixtures around 7:30 in the morning. Honestly, I saw that and I thought, Arsenal again. It always seems to be the case. I've been to the Emirates a couple of times, and I can remember in the cup game as well. I think when we and then Jota scored. I think we beat him 2-0 after drawing 0-0. I think it was at Anfield. Mohamed Salah missed that game as well. But Fulham away and Arsenal away, you have to say, are tricky fixtures. Fulham, we lost. I know, again, we must stress that we were on the beach, but we lost on paper last season. And Arsenal and Mohamed Salah is a player that you'd like to play. You take to the Emirates, but he just has a knack, because at Arsenal away, you would have to suffer, because when have we really gone in league games and absolutely battered them recently? It just doesn't happen, because Arsenal, I think, are still going to be our main rivals. And how Man City recover and cope and adapt to playing so soon after the Club World Cup, and how it affects them maybe in February, March, and April remains to be seen. So that is a stinker for me. Arsenal fans who are absolutely in meltdown because of they were going screwing. Everything seems to be against Arsenal for the last 2-3 years. The corruption charges and corruption accusations were in full flow this morning. My Twitter feed was full of them. Complaining and on the league has it in for Arsenal and stuff like that. But just to remind Arsenal fans, you play Manchester City twice, you play Man United twice, you play Brighton twice, and we play Brighton twice and Manchester City twice and Man United twice. But look, in all honesty, yes, their 6 fixtures do look very, very difficult. I saw some tweets about Arsenal fans complaining we could be out the race. Arteta could be out of a job after 10 games. So that's how much the meltdown was amongst the Arsenal fan base. Then we've got another couple of fixtures. I think if Salah comes back and misses Fulham away and Arsenal away, even if he comes back for the Burnley fixture, I'm predicting how Liverpool like to manage him. I know he's super fit and he's a superman as well, but I think they might give him that Burnley home on the Saturday, 17th of Jan. I think they might give it off to him, because I think he'll probably just need a break with the intensity and the pitches. As we know, he picked up that hamstring injury on those dodgy pitches over in I don't know where it was, but it was somewhere during the AFCON. So then he'll probably come back for Bournemouth away and Newcastle at home, which will end the January fixtures. And then February, as we know, they were really difficult. February, wasn't it? We had about 1 million fixtures. February, we had an extra game in there as well for the Carabao Cup final. And then we had a few, I think, did we play Plymouth in February? I can't even remember. But all I know, we played a lot of games in Feb. We had the Newcastle League game. We had the PSG games. We had Everton. We had Newcastle at Anfield as well. And that is the period, I think, Liverpool in February and March, Liverpool did look tired. They got the points on the board that they needed to, and they got that cushion going into April. But I think this cost us, and I think this is the reason why Liverpool are really looking to strengthen in the transfer market, and not just on the first team, on the bench as well. So if Florian Wirtz is starting ahead of Soboslai in the number 10, you've got Soboslai coming on, you've got Bradley starting, you've got Frimpong, and you're doing 60-30, 60-30. And this manager has started very, very early, getting a reputation for that, because I think he's going to be preparing for these months. And like I said, it'll be interesting to see how Manchester City cope in this period of the season after going, really big on the Club World Cup. And that's probably one of the reasons why they were so eager to get 3-4 signings done. And in all fairness, they managed to do that. But let's see how their legs are like come February and March. And then we finish off in April with Fulham, Everton, Palace. There'll be a lot of FA Cup ties across these fixtures, international breaks, which I've mentioned a few. Champions League ties as well, home and away, will be sandwiched in between these big fixtures. And let's hope Liverpool have got those fixtures as well, because if we have a bit of a fixture congestion in March and April, then it'll mean that we're in the deep end, the business end of the big competitions, and collecting those trophies come in the sunshine when in May. And then I think our last 4 or 5 games are difficult. We've got Man United and Everton in the last 6 fixtures of our title running. And I call it title running because I see Liverpool as favourites for the title. Why shouldn't we? We've just won the league at a canter. We've bought and strengthened. And with Florian Wirtz signing, I think we've already won the transfer window, in my opinion. And when we bring in another 2-3 signings, I think we'll just go home into that favourite status as well. So Chelsea at home, I think we should be okay. Hopefully, I had a quick conversation with a friend. Hopefully, we've got it wrapped up again before the last 4. But you'd think Arsenal and Manchester City are gonna, fight, bring a better challenge to the title race. Some super chats are flying in. I'll get Ashes in now. He says, completely disagree. Very unfair on the Arsenal fixtures. They play the champions at home and away, and we don't play the champions at all. It's fixed, Asim. Ash, they are screwing. I spoke to some Arsenal fans going to work. They were pissed off going into work, and they were pissed off with the fixtures. And then they were pissed off about, we have to buy someone now because look at the start. We need these guys in early. We need to work on our systems, formations, and tactics. We need to get them in early and stop faffing around. And I'm absolutely loving it. Absolutely loving it. And this is what Liverpool just need to do. Ignore all the outside noise. Just stay focused and just go get that number 21. And it could be a really, really big season. And then we finish off with Villa away. We've talked about that tricky tie, always a team that can hurt you, but a team that will always give you an opportunity, because the system they play, the high line and stuff like that. Even though on the big day, especially in Europe, he's shown that he can change his philosophy, where they went to PSG for the first 15-20 minutes. I thought Villa were, fairly sound and controlled PSG. But with the PSG, the moment they got that first goal, then they just absolutely blitzed them. But away from at home, you could argue Villa, did show that, they could have easily got a result after the first 15-20 minutes, because PSG just came and picked them off and looked at unbelievable side, as they probably did in every game in Europe this season. Aki says it won't be wrapped up this early next season. It will be super tight. How many points? I think we can all agree that we will win the league, or we're favourites for the league. How many points do you think Liverpool will win the league by? If you don't think we're going to win the league, then you can tell me. Rumi, give me a number, the difference. You think Liverpool will get 86, but how many points will the second team get? Finally catching alive. Alex, nice to see you, mate. Big up. 8 points. Okay. I take that. Ash says 7. Rumi thinks it's going to be super tight. By 2 points. Okay. That'll be bad for my heart. High 80s, 94. I'll take 94 right now. I'll shake your hand. 2037. So, oh, Eric, is that Chin? Is that Chin's burner? Abid, go on. 7. Kieran, 15. Really? Wow. Um, Second place gets 80. You'd think Arsenal and City are going to improve, aren't they? Well, at least everyone's agreeing with me that we're going to win the league. We're going to win the league. That's it. As long as we win the league, we can win it by half a point, if that exists. Aki says it'll be hard for your heart, Asim, but it will hit like ecstasy when it's super close. You're right. You're right. And to be fair, we never really do it easy. Do we? We never really do it. We always do it the hard way. But this season was a nice surprise. And I think it's always nice to have a change as well. So May was unbelievable. The sun was shining. You were going to the likes of, playing Tottenham. That honestly, that game, if anyone was there, was probably the best ever game I've been to in terms of the entrance, the atmosphere, the feeling, the noise, the sound, the color. It was unbelievable, honestly. And then the match, how we went a goal down, how the crowd rose to the occasion, got behind the team, and then we spanked, just like everyone's spanking the like button today. We spanked Spurs that day as well. Atik's in the house. The challenge now is to win the league when we are in a title race. Can we take the pressure? Fair play, fair play. But I think what we're doing, Atik, is we're bringing proper quality. We're at the top table this year, and that will help us. I know Kirkez hasn't been involved in any title races in the Premier League, but Florian Wirtz has. He's gone, across the season unbeaten, invincible. We're bringing an invincible to be added to this title-winning champion team, so it's only gonna improve our quality and our physicality and our mentality as well. So if we bring in these sort of players, Frimpong again won leagues in various countries. Again, I think honestly, when I see Frimpong, and it reminds me of Robbo as well, the vibe that he brings, the ethic, the team ethic that he sort of contributes to. Honestly, we shouldn't underestimate. And someone just tagged me on Twitter earlier on, a Man United fan, saying Liverpool are going to go get Sancho, and I replied to him saying we don't buy dickheads. And you can see the players that we're getting in Wirtz and Frimpong. Some would argue a bit against Milos Kerkez, but mainly because his dad and not him, which I probably need to take my statements and comments back a little when I gave Avi a bit of shit. I think in retrospect, I think after thinking about it, I think he should have waited for the club to make an official announcement. I know he was keen. I know he's been waiting on the beach for about a month or so to get the call, but I think he should have, had some respect for his club there and just waited. And if we're all pissed off in about 4 or 5 years where he's talking to Real Madrid, then we shouldn't be surprised because what he's doing right now. So you have to call a spade, even though I'm looking forward to him being in a red shirt. You have to say I was wrong and Abby was right the other day. So glad I can say that whilst he's not in the chat, because he'd be spamming the chat as well. Let's move on to the stories today. I saw some aggregators. I'm just going to bring it up now. Anfield edition. Let's go to this one. Right. Ibu Konate. This story from 3 hours ago. Sports Pete or Ibrahima Konate could leave Liverpool in the coming weeks as contract talks have collapsed. The club want to resolve the defender's future in the summer with only 12 months remaining on his deal and will not risk a repeat of Alexander Arnold's exit. Now, I have to, and they've got him as a number 2 with a medal. That tells me he's a bit hit and miss. If you guys know that, is that a journalist or is it just a media organization? I don't know. I've not clicked onto that. But maybe they've given him a 2, so it clearly tells me they are, or he or she even might be it is a hit and miss. So we might have to take it with a pinch of salt. But that last line, and we'll not risk a repeat of Alexander Arnold's exit. And we were talking about this yesterday, that I think is two options with Ibu's contract situation, where he either gets a new contract or he runs down his 12 months. I can't see where what Liverpool will have to do to him. I think we'll have to get a bit lucky in the sense where Real Madrid or PSG come in for him, and where he's still open to going to either club. And then we can drive up the price. We can get 40, 50 million for him, even though he's in, Aki says, Avi's more reliable than them. Okay, that gives me some hope. But, it doesn't stop us talking about it. So let's see what happens. But that's what I was trying to reiterate and be trying to reiterate. Now, I hope I'm wrong. If now a big if he does leave, I hope we get a transfer value for him. But who is that replacement? Can we get Usmano Diamande in? Can we get a Lukeba in? Even we might have to, switch around Van Dijk a bit and play, Lukeba at left side as centre back. But it's a big thing because Van Dijk's been playing all the time. It's a massive integral part to how we build up and how we get out of the press with that switch from Van Dijk to Salah. It's a massive, massive cog in our team. So, do we have time for that? Do we really need to fix something that's not broken? So it just complicates things, and I would be really, really upset if Konate leaves on a free. But I think this is a situation that it's from the Trent era, from the Salah era. We have to be very, very lucky that normally when big players enter their 12 months into their contract, they just don't sign. But we were lucky where we were, the situation we were in with Trent entering the last 6 months, Salah and Van Dijk, that we got 2 out of 3. Now you have to give credit to the club, the owners, and all the negotiators and the players as well, of course, for showing that they're here. And even though they could have got bigger wage packets in Saudi or wherever else, that they stayed and wanted to win trophies in the best league, in the best team. So, but with Konate, if we get lucky, we'll get a fee, I think, because an auction between PSG or Real Madrid comes up. But if I had a choice and I was told that he leaves, I would probably say, okay, let him stay and we win trophies this year and we've got 12 months to go and get his replacement. That's what I would want, unless you tell me right now that you've got Diamande coming in and you can get 50, 60 million, because I do get the theory of it sets a bad example, it sets a bad precedence, within your club and squad, where players can just run down their contracts. But I think it might be just too late for that. And this is what I was trying to say. You have to see this in the same sense or in the same light as the contracts of Trent, the contracts of Van Dijk and Salah as well, because it was from that similar period that these guys just didn't want to talk about contracts. And when we approached Ibu, he had about 14, 15 months left on the contract. And I think we have to be approaching players when they've coming up to 2 years left. And then if they don't sign, we then can make a decision saying, look, you're going in the summer, simple as, if you're not signing, because we're not risking this again in January. We're not risking this in the following summer when you've got 12 months left, when you can start talking to teams within 6 months. And let's be honest, all the teams, as soon as, especially when you've got the likes of Real Madrid sniffing around, they target big players with around 2 years left. And they say, okay, you're around about 24, 25 years of age or a bit younger. Come to us when you stick 26, 27, and we'll get you for free. And they've started, getting a bit of a monopoly when it comes to that. A lot of people talking about Bisek is a shout. I love Bastoni. Bastoni is a good shout. Would he be, good for us on the left-hand side of defense, or can he play both? Um, I'm not so sure about Bastoni in terms of like how he fit in the team, because I'll be honest with you, I don't watch Inter Milan a lot. I've obviously seen a bits of him in the Champions League, and he does impress me. But let's see what happens. If we do get links with him, I promise you, Rumi, I'll start watching him a bit more. I do like the first player that Billy's mentioned here, Lukeba. Lukeba has got potential to be an outstanding physical presence in the defense, and he's really good on the ball. I think it was Billy himself who sent me a clip, or was it Wiki, where he was taking players on. He looked like a left winger, for God's sake, in training, and he's really really good on the ball. Really good ball manipulation as well. So I think we do need that. I think we probably need to add a bit of size in the team as well. When we've gone to the likes of Newcastle, when we've gone to the likes of Everton away, when we've gone to the likes of Arsenal at times in the cup and the league, we do seem get outpowered, because those 3-4 sides are bigger and stronger than us. And we've got the likes of Gravenberg and Mohamed Salah, who have made sure from their quality, or even with Trent, from some pings from deep, we've got away with just producing a moment of magic, because I think still we're one of the best sides in the world when it comes to our counter-attacking style. So we're always in a game, and when you've got the mentality of Mohamed Salah, and then anything is possible. Even though we don't look like scoring, we can just turn it on straight away. So I would go with Lukeba. I would only go with Mark Gahey, Billy, if it's a backup option. And maybe we're going to go on to Mark Gahey as an option when it comes to someone like Joe Gomez getting replaced, because there was a report on him as well. Where is it? Maybe I need to scroll up. There we are. Guardian Sport, Liverpool are believed to be willing to let Joe Gomez leave Anfield this summer. The defender is valued at £30 million. With the situation of Robbo, we were talking about how ruthless Liverpool need to be. Do they have some sort of verbal agreement? Have they got a really good relationship with it, which they have? Can they show a bit of leniency and understanding when these players have been very loyal to Liverpool over the course of the season, where Liverpool have probably needed him over the course of the last 7-8 years, especially when it comes to Joe Gomez? He stayed and showed loyalty to Liverpool, and he's been an absolute brilliant servant to Liverpool. But you have to say, Liverpool have been a great servant to him as well. We've given him time to recover from numerous injuries, and then given him an opportunity to make his way into the team. So it's a two-way thing. But he always comes across as a really down-to-earth guy, popular member of the squad. The captain loves him. I think he's one of his best mates as well. He always talks about Joe Gomez. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I'll be surprised, I must admit, if we let Robertson go, we let Kwanzaa go, and we let go of Joe Gomez. I just think we might run out of time to do all this business. We've still things to go up in the further up the pitch when it comes to maybe a left winger coming in. And will Diaz stay? We'll have to get rid of Darwin Núñez as well. So there's so much business. Then a lot of people want a natural six to come in as well to support Ryan Gravenberch in midfield. So how much business are we going to do? I'd love to see it all, but I just think we're going to run out of time. And everyone's been talking about the Great Reset, the Summer of Madness. Will it be that mad? I don't know. You tell me. So Joe Gomez for 30 million. Would I take the money? How many years does Joe Gomez have left on his contract? Can someone just confirm? Does he have 2 left or 3? 2. Esan says 2. Someone away. Dutta says 2. 2027. Okay. So that's a decent fee then for a guy who isn't starting for us. 30 million. Would you take 30 million? Yes or no for Joe Gomez? Regardless if we sell Kwanzaa or not. Would you take 30 million for Joe Gomez? Tell me. Yes. Shaq says 1+1. So okay. Jono says we're giving ourselves too much work to do if we lost all those defenders. I agree. I agree. I think we sign a winger and play Diaz up front, and we wait for Isaac next summer when he gets more gettable. The thing is, next summer, Isaac becomes, he'll be, next summer, he'll be 26, in 27 in January. Do we pay 100 million, 120 million for him next season? I don't know. I don't know. Or do they just give the likes of, Ekitike maybe 1 year, and if he bags another 30 goals, they'll probably think, okay, this guy's, has proven more that he can scale his, metrics up, and it's worth paying that money now rather than this summer. Okay, put 30. Margay, I think I'd be happy if Joe Gomez wants to leave, and it might be his decision. Where I think there was some talk about Crystal Palace last year. I was told on good, very, very good authority that there was no interest from Crystal Palace when it came to Joe Gomez. Joe Gomez might have been looking to, leave, but Liverpool made him stay, and maybe we revisit this again this summer and let him leave for 30 million pounds, and then Mark Gahey probably will come in for a similar fee, because I think he's got 1 year left on his contract as well. So it might be a decent, not a swap, because Joe Gomez could go elsewhere as well. But if it's 1 in, 1 out, I think a lot of fans would be happy with that. I was given a question. I was asked the question, who would you want to leave if it was a defender leaving between Kwanzaa and Joe Gomez? I said Kwanzaa. I know he's younger, and he could be a very good Premier League defender, but I want to see the situation now. I want to win trophies, especially in the next 2 years when we've got Van Dijk and Salah at the club. So, and in terms of versatility, I think Joe Gomez is a better player, and Joe Gomez is more versatile than Kwanzaa. But when it comes to Gahey's versatility, I think he can do a job across. He can do a job across the whole back line. So I think it'd be a good option. But it's been about 2-3 years now. When was the last time we bought a defender? I think it was Ibu. But we've lost out on the next big thing. Euro, a lot of potential there. Dean Oyson, a lot of potential there. So I think Liverpool have to keep on looking for the next defender. But I was saying in the other show that Richard Hughes managed to find Zabarani. Just go find the next Zabarani, and we'll be happy. I'm running out of time as well, as I've got to go back to work. So Gordon, there were some links yesterday. I did some digging, and unfortunately I could not get anything that really could share with you, apart from we do like him, but it also depends on what we do with Luis Diaz, and it can also maybe affect the left winger coming in, as well, as to if we get there's some people who I speak to think if we let Diaz go, we could just bring in and spend a bit more on Ekitike or Isak, and then maybe look at Wirtz as being a backup to Gakpo as well, as a left-sided option on paper anyway. Whether that puts too much onus on Gakpo, who's probably, you won't say he's a touchline winger. I've been talking about it, how whenever I'm at Anfield, I see how much Arne Slot wants his winger to stretch the opposition, stay on that touchline, and make those out to in runs as well. At times, when the left back progresses and advances forward, they do come inside, and then they play off each other with the left-sided midfielder and the left back on the underlap or on the overlap as well. But maybe he sees as someone like Kirkes who can, because at the moment Robbo is told to stay a bit and then go. Maybe he sees Kirkes has got the running power and the recovery pace to go a bit earlier and then come back. If he's going a bit earlier, that means the left winger is going inside a bit earlier as well. So let's see what happens. Let's see what happens, and it'll be interesting to see how we play that. I think that's a bit too predictable. I think Florian Wirtz will come into those areas from central positions, whether it's the 10, whether it's the double 10 position as well, and then let him roam left and right as the positionless number 10 or the roaming 10. Call it what you want, but I don't want to see Wirtz starting from the wing role, because I think I do like a player who can stand up a man, take on a man on the outside, and then if they need to come inside for the overlapping fullback in natural fluidity, then I'm all up for that. Rather than starting on paper, I just think we can be a bit more predictable, rather than just being really really fluid and interchanging in positions. Anthony Gordon, would I be happy? I like the player. I think he puts a shift in, but I did raise some concerns about when I look at his metrics. They are decent metrics. Are they Bacola type of metrics? No. We have to say Bacola's playing in a weaker league in a team that has 70-80% of the possession. So he will have more taking on stats and dominant stats in a weaker league as well. There was a dip in form with Gordon. Whenever I see Gordon, and maybe that's one of the reasons why he's done really well against big teams, is Newcastle generally, especially on the big day, over the last 2-3 years, have played counter-attacking football against the big teams, and he is unbelievable in transition. He's got an engine, he's got legs, he's got lungs, and he's really really good when teams are committed further up the field. So, but whether how he is against low blocks, taking on a player when he doesn't have space in behind, you do need more natural flair, natural skill, and natural ability as well. So, but how many of those wingers that we can get do have that? Even Liao, whenever I see him, he eats up space. He's always been a really good carrier of the ball, taking on ability as well. He always seems to be in transition as well. So maybe I need to see a bit more of Liao. But the Liao fans, there's a lot of them, they do swear by him that this guy just needs a different club, a different coach. Eze, for me, isn't a touchline winger. That is the only problem. I think Eze suits the system, even Man United, if he moves there. He suits the Man United, Crystal Palace system, where he can occupy that left hand as half space, where you've got the overlapping wing back in a 3-5-2 or a 5-4-1, whatever it is. The wing back is generally high up, and whenever Crystal Palace play us, whether it's at home or away, that is one of the main things or that you see from their games, how high their fullbacks are, because that coach is brave. Although he plays five at the back, when they do have the ball from the keeper or the central defenders, the three, occupy the length of the pitch, and they let the fullbacks on the halfway line, and it shifts. It does two things. It doesn't allow the team to press high unless you go really man to man and get really aggressive. Or if it's in this 4-2-4 business that we've been seeing from Liverpool, then it requires, Diaz to, occupy the field a bit further behind, or Salah to do all the DM on the right hand side to go across and get the wing back as well. But I'll stop the tactics talk just now. We're still on Transfer Daily, and the tactic talk will come in further shows, I promise you, when we've got a proper board. We do have that board, but you'll know all about it in 3-4 weeks time when you get a bit of news from us. Shaq with a question. Asim, do you think Ibu has already been tapped up from another club? Look, Shaq, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised, if I'm really honest. Is he doing a few delaying tactics? Is he genuinely looking for a better deal? And we'll come to some sort of halfway house and agree on a deal. I hope so. But in today's game, Shaq, let's be honest, Liverpool fans should know that there is a big possibility for players to be doing this. Who doesn't do it? Who doesn't? Tell me. Um, Buffalo Soldier says Ibu could be speaking Spanish next. Maybe, maybe. Okay, people. I think that's 50 minutes. We've been discussing the fixtures and the transfer gossip. Let's see how things develop. I think this week is all about unveiling Florian Wirtz. Next week will be all about getting Milos Kerkez sorted. And then we'll start seeing some sales. Darwin Núñez deal could develop. Harvey Elliott deal could develop. Robertson to Atletico Madrid could become really advanced. And he could end up on in those in the same country as Trent. So it'll be interesting to see where Liverpool, after 2 weeks, see where their next two players come from. Whether it's a centre back, whether it's a left winger, whether we go pull the trigger and get our number 9 from the Premier League, like every single Liverpool fan wants us to do. Just imagine Isak, Florian Wirtz, and Mohamed Salah behind him. Wow, we'd absolutely kick ass in the league. We'd kick ass in Europe as well. Whether you're a PSG, whether you're a Barcelona, I don't care. We're kicking ass. Okay, people, thank you so much. Like and subscribe. Let me know what all your thoughts are if you're watching the show later, and we'll catch you on the next one. Until then, take care, and we'll see you soon. Bye bye for now.